Huge win for UK. Liz Truss announced a landmark £2.9 billion trade deal with New Zealand. Liz Truss is expected to announce a bumper trade deal with New Zealand within days. The Secretary of State for International Trade and her colleagues are expected to announce that an agreement in principle has been reached within 14 days by the end of August. The landmark deal is expected to slash tariffs on wine imports alongside gin, meaning wine from the Commonwealth nation will likely be cheaper on the supermarket shelves. Under the deal, tariffs are also expected to be slashed on UK car exports to New Zealand, worth £200 million per annum. The agreement is also expected to cover mutual recognition for professional qualifications and the movement of working professionals between both countries. But Wellington has also been pushing for a deal that progressively removes all tariffs and quotas, including sheep and beef tariffs over 15 years and dairy within 5. Trade between both countries was worth £2.9 billion in 2019, and it is hoped this value will be boosted by hundreds of millions. The understands UK negotiators have laid the groundwork with New Zealand for the deal, with a good rapport being developed between both negotiating teams. UK High Commissioner to New Zealand Laura Clark said, "There's a lot to be gained from this bilateral trade agreement." The British diplomat also said they have had rounds of very constructive discussions. She continued, "I think there is a shared ambition to do a really high-quality free trade agreement that's ambitious in terms of tariff reduction but is also very innovative in things like what you do on services and digital trade. We are committed to getting it done as soon as we can, and I think that's true on both sides, but you never want to compromise quality over speed." Ms. Clark said the securing of the deal would be a key step towards joining the Comprehensive and Progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership, CPTPP, trading bloc. The £9 trillion bloc has Australia, Canada, Japan and Singapore among its members, as well as Brunei, Chile, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Peru, and Vietnam. The UK government says membership could mean a 65% increase in British exports to CPTPP nations over the next decade, worth £37 billion. Damien O'Connor, New Zealand's Trade Minister, added, "We are committed to reaching this milestone, although I have always said that the priority for New Zealand is a high-quality, comprehensive and inclusive outcome. The Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, CPTPP, also known as TPP-11 or TPP-11, is a trade agreement among Australia, Brunei, Canada, Chile, Japan, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Peru, Singapore, and Vietnam. It evolved from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, which never entered into force due to the withdrawal of the United States. The 11 signatories have combined economies representing 13.4% of global gross domestic product, at approximately $13.5 trillion, making the CPTPP one of the world's largest free trade areas by GDP, along with the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, the European Single Market, and the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. The TPP had been signed on the 4th of February 2016, but never entered into force, as the US withdrew from the agreement soon after the election of President Donald Trump. All other TPP signatories agreed in May 2017 to revive the agreement, 8-9, with Japan widely reported as taking the leading role in place of the US in January 2018. The CPTPP was created as a succeeding agreement, retaining two-thirds of its predecessor's provisions. 22 measures favored by the US, but contested by other signatories, were suspended, while the threshold for enactment was lowered so as not to require American accession. The formal signing ceremony was held on the 8th of March 2018 in Santiago, Chile. The agreement specifies that its provisions enter into effect 60 days after ratification by at least half the signatories, 6 of the 11 participating countries. Australia was the 6th nation to ratify the agreement, on the 31st of October 2018, and it subsequently came into force for the initial 6 ratifying countries on the 30th of December 2018. The chapter on state-owned enterprises, SOEs, is unchanged, requiring signatories to share information about SOEs with each other, with the intent of engaging with the issue of state intervention in markets. It includes the most detailed standards for intellectual property of any trade agreement, as well as protections against intellectual property theft against corporations operating abroad. Property theft against